in doubt, release a good game again. What is up, everybody? Chaos here. Today we're going to be looking at video game remakes and remasters. Well, they were way worse than the game they were actually trying to update and pay tribute to. Now, for this list, we'll be looking at any and all attempts to bring a classic game to modern audiences, either with a simple graphical update or with a top-to-bottom remake or reimagining. Now, with the recent uptick in remasters and remakes, I thought it would be fun. Take a look back, see some of the games that seriously missed the mark and did the original games dirty. So let me know which of these remakes and remasters frustrated you the most. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed. At number 10, Mafia 2, the Definitive Edition. Now, not too long ago, I said the Mafia 1 remake was really good, but that did not play the remake of the sequel. Mafia 2 originally launched in 2010. Had a pretty massive marketing push, mainly to help it compete with GTA 4 at that time. Now, for the game's 10-year anniversary, 2K Games ordered a remastered version called Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, just like they had done with the original one. But while Mafia 1's remaster was actually pretty solid, something went terribly wrong with the sequel. It featured updated graphics and all the story DLC, which was cool, but it also came bundled with a crap load of bugs and glitches that weren't present in the original version. And after the original version of the game was pulled from sale in favor of this one, the internet wasn't happy. It can be pretty tough to find an original copy of Mafia 2 now, so if you want to play it, you're going to be stuck with the remaster. I will admit, the remaster is a lot better today after a few patches, but when it launched, it was one of the most hated games around. At number 9, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Speaking of hated games, I have no idea what went wrong here. Assassin's Creed 3 dropped in 2012. It wasn't one of the most beloved games in the series, but it was solid. When talking about the Assassin's Creed franchise, a lot of people see AC3 as a bit of a bad one due to very slow pace and somewhat undeveloped gameplay. So, all that being said, AC3 was a bit of a weird choice for a remaster, but Ubisoft went ahead, pushed it out, and in 2019, it was ripped apart. Ripped apart big time. Aside from not fixing any of the gameplay or pacing issues, it featured only marginally better visuals than the original and introduced ungodly amounts of bugs and glitches. In fact, a lot of PC players realized that in many instances, the remastered version actually looked worse than the original with max settings, which that can never happen. Did I mention it was $40? Yeah, $40 at launch. It was a bizarre choice for a remaster. You could have done anything, AC2, AC Brotherhood, AC4, and for some reason, Ubisoft picked AC3. Crysis Remastered. Now, Crysis is one of the most defining games of all time, whether it's meme culture, whether it's just being ahead of its time. I mean, it pushed gaming hardware to the absolute limit. The original Crysis is probably going to be near at the top of the list, right? The original dropped all the way back in 2007. It managed to challenge gaming PCs for almost a decade to the point that Can It Run Crysis became a meme in the PC gaming world. So when it was announced that a remastered version was in the works, people immediately started talking about how incredible it was going to look. I mean, if the 2007 version looked amazing, think what the 2020 remaster was going to look like. Then we got our hands on it. I bought this day one. It was ripped apart. They had technical issues. It was beaten to the dirt even further because of the incredibly underwhelming visuals. I'm not kidding when I say the remastered version actually looked worse in certain regards, especially when it comes to the animations and the lighting. Also, the enemy AI was really bad. I don't know what happened. I mean, most of the bugs have been patched, but it was an unnecessary exercise and unnecessary remastering. I mean, if you're going to remaster a game, the least you can do is make it look better than the original. At number 7, Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop. Now, the original Dead Rising was a huge success. It breathed new life into the zombie genre at that time. The first Dead Rising was an Xbox 360 exclusive, had you playing in this cool open world shopping mall filled with zombies you could shred through, various objectives, and following the success of 1, Capcom wanted to branch out, get more people in the fun, so they ordered a top-to-bottom remake exclusive for the Nintendo Wii. Now, Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop is basically the same as Dead Rising 1, but they sucked all the fun out of it. And you had to deal with a lot of motion controls. The graphics looked much worse than the original due to the platform, and it seemed like every change it just made it worse. Dead Rising 1, excellent game. Chop Till You Drop, absolutely complete garbage. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Now, the 3D Super Mario games have been consistent over the years. Super Mario 64, one of the most innovative games of all time, and its 2 follow-ups, Sunshine and Galaxy, they were awesome. Fans rejoiced when Nintendo announced they were remastering and re-releasing all 3 games as part of a new Switch collection called Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So why would it be on today's list? Well, they weren't really being upfront when they called the new version of the game an improvement over the original. All 3 games in the collection featured very underwhelming performance, and in some cases, they didn't improve. The sales strategy was also pretty insulting, as Nintendo was selling this thing for full price and only allowing physical sales for a limited time. Basically a gimmick to make people rush out and buy it without considering how overpriced it was. The 3 games included in Super Mario 3D All-Stars are some of the best 3D platformers ever made, but the collection itself, it was mismanaged. It was. Cracking into the top 5. Parappa the Rapper Remastered. How do you mess this up? It was a rhythm game that came out in 1996 for the PlayStation, but was later ported to the PSP in the mid-2000s. Not a super amazing title, but it was important for the rhythm game genre as a whole, and it helped pave the way for things like Dance Dance Revolution and Guitar Hero. So Sony, in all of their thinking, decided in 2017 it was time to remaster a classic, but it was bad. The PS4 version of Parappa the Rapper is riddled with timing errors, meaning it's a rhythm game where you don't actually score points by doing things to the beat of the song. It was later discovered that the remastered version was actually just the original PSP version running on an emulator, which explains all the issues, but it doesn't excuse anything. It was a disgrace to the original. At number 4, Silent Hill HD Collection. Anybody here excited for the Silent Hill reboot? Raise your hand, because you probably shouldn't be. Sorry. Konami has a horrible reputation when it comes to managing their IP, and no franchise has gotten screwed over more than Silent Hill fans. The collection was released in 2012 for the 360 and the PS3. It featured remastered versions of 2 and 3, which are widely seen as the best in the franchise, so it should be a slam dunk. Well, it wasn't. According to interviews with the developers, Konami actually lost the final gold pressings of both games, meaning that Hijinks Studios had to work with unfinished builds of both Silent Hill 2 and 3 and basically rebuild the rest of them from scratch without any of the original game's assets at their disposal. So you can guess what happened. It launched with a ton of bugs, and the drastic changes from the original. Silent Hill 2 no longer had the iconic fog, which made the atmosphere completely different and way less scary. The new voice acting, it was widely criticized, and the updated textures were very controversial. The originals are some of the best horror games ever made, but the HD collection is probably the worst way to experience them, which is a shame because neither of these games has ever been re-released or made available via digital download. They mishandled the Silent Hill IP almost to a hilarious degree. At number 3, 13. Now, 13 is a cult classic FPS. It was developed by Ubisoft Paris, released in late 2003 for the Xbox, the PC, the PS2, and GameCube. You played as a man with no memory. He finds himself in the middle of a government conspiracy, and he's on the run looking for answers after it's all revealed that you assassinated the president. Now, this game is complete bananas, but in the best possible way. The story was cool, the art style was cool, and the gameplay was addicting. So 17 years after release, a full remake was ordered by a new studio who had nothing to do with the original, and it was painfully clear they missed the point of the game. The 13 remake dropped in late 2020 for the PS4, PC, and Xbox One and was immediately destroyed by the internet. Aside from the countless bugs, the remake had an entirely different art style. There was a number of changes to the game design, and it made the remake feel like a generic modern-day FPS instead of one of the super unique and stylish originals from the 2003 era. The 13 remake remains one of the worst reviewed games on Steam. I mean, it was actually being outsold by the 17-year-old original. That has to be embarrassing. At number 2, Warcraft 3 Reforged. Warcraft 3 is one of the most influential RTS games of all time, and it was the title that introduced millions of people to the world of Warcraft. See what I did there? It launched in 2002 for the PC, and it maintained a community of players for the next almost 20 years until Blizzard decided to take a big dump in everyone's faces with Reforged. This was one of the first major releases of 2020. It should have been a sign of what else was going to drop that year because it was terrible. Leading up to the release, Blizzard was promoting Warcraft 3 as this all-around improvement over the original. New cutscenes, new visuals, new gameplay settings, and overhaul to the online capabilities in order to make it more accessible for modern gamers. So, what went wrong? Well, put simply, everything. It was destroyed at launch. Missing gameplay features, technical issues, removal of classic Warcraft 3 features, graphics that looked worse in many instances, and on top of that, the original Warcraft 3 was removed from sale and replaced with Reforged on Battle.net, meaning you literally couldn't play the original anymore. You were stuck with this objectively inferior version. And then on top of all that, Blizzard quietly updated their terms of service to say they were the official owners of any mods that the community would make for the new game, which is just unnecessary. The PR nightmare for this one was bad. And at number 1 today, the worst video game remake, I hate to say it, GTA The Trilogy Definitive Edition. Yeah, I mean, GTA 3 didn't reinvent, it invented 3D open world games. It spawned a whole legion of GTA clones in the mid-2000s. Now, Rockstar, they were hard at work milking GTA 5, right? And allegedly working on GTA 6, so they decided they'd release something new, and since it's the modern gaming era, a remaster of a classic, home run. Nope. It didn't work out that way. And they're like, well, we could remaster 1. No, let's do 3. The trilogy. GTA 3, GTA Vice City, San Andreas. Sounds absolutely amazing. Released in late 2021 to help hold the community over until the next official content drop. But you already know, it was bad. Technical issues had to be pulled from the shelves. They tried to clean it up. In addition to the countless bugs and the new graphics, it was just bad, okay? The character models, the animations, everything. Since it launched, the GTA trilogy has gotten a number of updates. It's in a much better state now, but the way this thing launched was absolutely unacceptable, and I have no doubt in my mind calling it the worst remake or remaster of all time. There you go. Let me know one that didn't make the list that you felt was deserving, and I'll see you soon.